So, Holy Schmolly, the power of your authentic self, right? That's my talk title. And so I walk through the world in a pretty authentic way. Some of you guys have been out in public with me and you have witnessed this. And so I wanted to start off with an original poem that I wrote, and it is basically about me and how I show up in the world. This poem was inspired by one of the great teachers of our era, a guru that is so profound and deep that he has touched my heart. I have read, I think, all of his books, and I can almost guarantee that every one of you has read at least one of his books. That is how widespread and profound this person's wisdom is. I'm sure you probably have already guessed, it's Dr. Seuss, right? Right, that's a guru, right? So here's my poem. I am love. Love I am. That love I am, that love I am, I can't deny that love I am. Can you measure it by the gram? I cannot measure it by the gram. Would you be love here or there? Yes, I would be love anywhere. Do you feel love in the air? Love's in the air and everywhere. Do you love the rocks and trees? I love rocks and trees and a gentle breeze. Do you love your enemies? I create friends by loving enemies. Do you love the falling rain? Of course I love life-giving rain. Are you love when you're in pain? I'm even love when I'm in pain. I'm love in pain and in the rain. I love the rocks and trees and my enemies. I would be love if I was here or there. Yes, I would be love anywhere. I am love. Love's what I am. Thank you, great I am. That poem's on my website, bonnieobull.com, if you guys want to go look at it later. And so, as I'm showing up authentically in the world, I'm seeing how it changes the world. It's so interesting to me because I have my degree in psychology, so it's interesting to me to watch human behavior as I interact with the world in this really Bonnie-ish kind of way. And so I wanted to tell a couple of stories about that. Recently, I went on a vacation to Washington State. Many of you saw my pictures on Facebook. And I went on a ferry ride. And oh my goodness, it was my first ferry ride ever. And so I got on this boat, and like all the people, you could tell they were like regular commuters, bored with their life and going back and forth on this boat every day and so tired of it until I came on the scene, right? It's my first ferry ride. It's my first ferry ride. They were like all like, this woman, right? It was so fun. Look, a seagull! My son said they're rats with wings. I don't know, but I liked the seagulls a lot. I did. Yeah, I made the mistake, and then I was swarmed, and they loved me a lot. They loved me a lot. It wasn't just about the Rice Krispie treat, I swear. And so I go around in the community, and as I show up in the way I show up, things happen like I call the coffee shop that I frequent, and I say, "Hi, it's Bonnie." And they say, "Would you like us to get your dark chocolate espresso smoothie with almond milk ready for you, Bonnie?" And I say, "Thank you, yes." And I show up at Brahms, and I get a weird craving for fries, which I don't really like. And I go to buy some fries, and the manager's like, "Your light is so beautiful. Here, have some fries for free." This morning I went and I wanted a shortbread cookie, and the woman, I just interacted with her a little bit. She was like, "Here, this is on us. Have a cookie." Thank you. Thank you so much, universe, for giving me another story for this morning. I might go over time, Cheryl. I don't know. So I have recently also been going for walks with my lovely friend Andrea at the mall. And the first time we walked at the mall with me going, "Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Oh, that's so cool!" She said she thought that I needed one of those leashes for children. And I told her it'd be okay as long as it was the one with the monkey on the back. And then in our most recent trip, I had to go do the little children's playground because there were no kids in there. And I almost got stuck in the tunnel because I'm too tall, but we won't go there. But also this last week, I guess a week or 2 weeks ago, we were walking along just at a steady clip because we're doing it for exercise, right? And I heard this man on the bench go, "Hi, how are you today?" And I stopped in my tracks and I looked him in the eye. I said, "I'm wonderful. How are you today?" He said, "Not so good. I've said hi and how are you to 9 different people, and they all acted like I wasn't there." Now, he was running the story of I don't exist, but I helped him break out of that because I stopped and I was just like, "I'm sorry that happened. That's not polite. You know, it's really good for us to treat each other like human beings." And he said, "Yeah, you're right." He said, "I'm just waiting for my vitamins, you know." And he said, "My dad died recently." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you like a hug?" And he said, "Yeah." Andrea's eyes got really big because because you would think that this guy was maybe intoxicated or on drugs or something with how he was acting. He was kind of slurring his speech. And anyway, I gave him a hug, and then he told me about his traumatic brain injury. And I had a feeling that was why he was acting the way he was. But anyway, I really feel like that probably changed that person's day and maybe helped them reset and feel like they were more noticed. So as I show up how I show up, lots of people come and interact with me. And in this community, there's probably a greater percentage of authenticity than in most communities in the world because we're all showing up as ourselves. And I wish Crystal was here because I'm telling a story about her. Y'all have to go tell her that we got a good laugh about this story. My very first day at CSL, Kim did a great talk about the Wizard of Oz, the metaphysics of the Wizard of Oz. We used to do something called 1-minute miracles. And so I said, a tornado picked me up and put me here, and this is where I'm meant to be, and I'm going to walk the yellow brick road with you guys for a while. And after that, Crystal came up to me and she said, "Hi, my name's Crystal, and we're kindred spirits." And I'm like, "Can I have a hug?" And she said, "Yeah." And we've been best friends ever since. But wouldn't it be nice, like if we weren't all acting like the cosmic teenager and all like laid back and like, "I've got to be cool," if we'd be all like the cosmic 3-year-old, "Do you want to play? Come on, let's play," you know? Wouldn't that be a fun world to live in if everybody was being their authentic self and their cosmic 3-year-old? So in these adventures, I've gone on a time machine. I've gone on a time machine adventure with Martin. I've gone on a magic druid adventure with Raphael. I go on all kinds of adventures all the time. I'm always like grabbing somebody. Sherry Sang Savannah has a strong connection with her son who passed many years ago. And her son told her when she went to conference to be sure to play. And when she told me that, I said, "Play?" I grabbed her by the hand and we ran through the hotel and I started a water fight with her in the water fountain. But everybody in the hotel was transformed by that. I mean, you could see the smiles come across people's faces as we ran by. So I don't want it to make it sound like it's all rainbows and roses being authentic, because sometimes it can be challenging. I have a 19-year-old daughter. She's pretty sure I shouldn't dance to every song I hear in public. I'm pretty sure I should dance to every song I hear in public. So, you know, one time she took me to Lowe's to get some art supplies in the wood department, and she accidentally took me down the mirror aisle. So here I am all like, "Hi, Bonnie." You know? She's like, "Oh, Mom, oh, Mom." So it doesn't always work out in my favor, but most of the time it does. So does authenticity mean that you're always happy? I don't think it always means you're always happy. How many people were at CSL the day I came and I had wonky energy? People noticed. People noticed that Bonnie was not, you said, "How are you?" And I said, "Good" or "Okay" instead of "Wonderful." So I'm human and I process things, and I was processing something that week. And so as I processed it, and I was really glad to be here. I want to thank everybody who was here because I felt enfolded in love. And it was a wonderful place to be. And I finished processing, that was great, but I did a lot of that processing with Andrea because she is one of my go-to people when I want to talk about something. You know, I have friends, we all have friends that if you're in a hole, they'll jump in the hole with you and be like, "Oh yeah, life is miserable." And then you have friends who'll be like, "Here's a rope, come on, let me pull you up." She's the rope kind of friend. And so she had been processing this with me, and she had a dream about me. And so it's her practice to tell people about the dream she has about them. And so she told me the whole dream was basically that my energy was low, and that I was typing while I was asleep, but like the whole community was watching me. And so we were talking about that, and I was like, you know, is it better for me to not show up in the community when my energy is low because people kind of expect me to be a high energy person? And what we decided was no, it's appropriate for me to show up, because if you guys see me as, oh, that's Bonnie, that's just Bonnie, she's not like the rest of us, she's up here happy all the time, then you don't get to see my humanness. And so there's something missing in the interaction between us. It's like a separating force. But when somebody's up here and talking and telling a story about their personal life, and you feel that, you know, angst that they're going through, it connects us as humans to show our weaknesses and our difficult times. I have a quote by Teal Swan. You guys know who Teal Swan is? She's awesome. I love Teal Swan. She says, many people think that being spiritual means being positive. But being spiritual means being conscious and aware. To become conscious is a much different thing than to become positive. To become conscious and aware, we must become authentic. Authenticity includes both positive and negative. Not that there's anything that's really negative, but sometimes it can feel like it's negative, the things that come to us in life that are helping us to grow, right? There's another quote that I wanted to share with you guys today by Jim Carrey, one of my other favorite gurus, and he says, choose love and never let fear turn you against your playful heart. Isn't that a great quote? It's from a commencement speech he did that you can look up on YouTube. It's a great, great speech. But that's kind of what I have adopted in life, I'm just going to constantly choose love as much as I possibly can. And then there's also another wonderful quote by Michael Beckwith. Reverend Michael Beckwith is a Center for Spiritual Living minister in California. Yes, in Culver City, California. Great, great speaker, very inspiring man. And yeah, huh? Agape. Oh, Agape Ministry, yes. You can look it up under Agape Ministry. So he says all growth is subtractive. And that kind of it's kind of a head scratcher at first, right? All growth is subtractive. But what that to me means, because I've meditated on this, is that when we are born as a newborn baby, we are perfect. We are the epitome of perfection. And then life starts piling all this stuff on us, and we get all these layers of stuff. And so we're all trying to get back to that original state. So I'm going to ask you guys now, for just a couple of minutes with me, to go on a journey and to close your eyes and to take a deep breath and center yourself. And imagine in your mind's eye that you're holding a newborn baby. You can even hold your hands as if you're holding this baby. Take a deep breath with this baby. You can still smell heaven on this baby. Smile at this baby. Look into its eyes. And see its perfection. It doesn't have to do anything. It doesn't have a list of things that it needs to do to be accepted and loved. It's just accepted and loved right as it is. And as you're looking at this baby, I want you to see this baby as you. See your perfection in this baby's face. See the truth of who you are through the eyes of this baby. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be different than exactly who you are to be infinitely loved, to be perfect just as you are. And so put these questions in your heart. How do I know when I'm being authentic? Am I seeing myself as this newborn baby? Am I seeing the people around me as this beautiful newborn baby? Am I playing like a cosmic 3-year-old as I journey through life? Those are all good signs that you're authentic. that you're living your authentic self. So you have the opportunity here in a moment when you open your eyes to open to a new world, a world where you are in your authentic self, where you are being truly you. So we're all going to take one more deep breath together, and at the end of the out-breath, you can open your eyes to this new world. I also wanted to share with you a couple of readings from two of my favorite books. Wow, everybody's so centered now. The energy shifted. This is The Little Soul in the Sun. It's a children's book, but it's my favorite book of all time, so it's not just a book for children. It's an excerpt actually from Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And in the story that I'm going to read, a little soul has gone to God to ask, to have a conversation about who the little soul really is. I'll show y'all the picture because I know y'all will be curious if I don't. There you go. And so this is the advice that God gives to this little soul. Let your light so shine that everyone will know how special you are. You mean it's okay for others to see how special I am? Asked the little soul. Of course, God chuckled. It's very okay. But remember, special does not mean better. Everybody is special, each in their own way. Yet many others have forgotten that. They will see that it is okay for them to be special only when you see that it is okay for you to be special. Wow, said the little soul, dancing and skipping and laughing and jumping with joy. I can be as special as I want to be. Yes, and you can start right now, said God, who was dancing and skipping and laughing right along with the little soul. And so I'm here to awaken your knowing of how special you are, of how important you are on this planet. You as you, not you as trying to be something that other people expect you to be, but you as you. And another one of my awakening books is Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. Love this book. It's a very good book. And there's a story at the beginning about a great spiritual teacher who goes around talking to many groups of people, and he speaks to them in parables, and he tells this wonderful story. And to me, this is a story about what can happen for you if you decide to not listen to the naysayers, to not listen to the people who tell you that you're not enough. Because I guarantee you, you're enough. Those people are wrong. So here's another story. It's story time. I love stories. Oh my gosh, my sticky note fell out. All right. Once there lived a village of creatures along the bottom of a great crystal river. The current of the river swept silently over them all, young and old, rich and poor, good and evil. The current going its own way, knowing only its own crystal self. Each creature, in its own manner, clung tightly to the twigs and rocks of the river bottom, for clinging was their way of life, and resisting the current what each had learned from birth. But one creature said at last, I am tired of clinging. Though I cannot see it with my eyes, I trust that the current knows where it is going. I shall let go and let it take me where it will. Clinging, I shall die of boredom. The other creatures laughed and said, Fool! Let go, and that current you worship will throw you tumbled and smashed across the rocks, and you will die quicker than boredom. But the one heeded them not, and taking a breath, did let go, and at once was tumbled and smashed by the current across the rocks. Yet in time, as the creature refused to cling again, the current lifted him free from the bottom, and he was bruised and hurt no more. And the creatures downstream to whom he was a stranger cried, See, a miracle, a creature like ourselves, yet he flies. See, the Messiah come to save us all. And the one carried in the current said, I am no more Messiah than you. The river delights to lift us free if only we dare to let go. Our true work is this voyage, this adventure. But they cried the more, Savior, all the while clinging to the rocks. And when they looked again, he was gone, and they were left alone, making legends of a Savior. So, there are 3 compelling reasons that I have found for walking in your authentic self, besides anything you might have extrapolated from my talk. Number 1 is there was a study done at the University of Pennsylvania in 2014 that gathered a whole bunch of other studies for all you scientifically minded people. I'm trying to make sure I'm helping everybody, right? So they gathered all this information from these different studies, and they found a very strong correlation that authenticity is linked to well-being. I'm a living, breathing example of that. I am well. I am happy most of the time, 99% of the time. The second compelling reason that I found is what this book Illusions was alluding to. You are a very special and important piece of the puzzle of heaven on earth. And that's a quote from Jennifer Huff, my friend and colleague, who I just adore. And I like that quote because what happens if you have 2 puzzle pieces and there's a puzzle piece over here that's looking at that puzzle piece and says, oh, look, they have a flat side. I want a flat side. All I have is this bump. I'm just going to cut off my bump side. Then I'll have a flat side like that other piece. Won't that be great? How's the puzzle of heaven on earth going to fit together if everybody cuts off their bump to look like the next person's flat side, right? We got bumps. We got bumps. It's good. Right. She also talks about a hand being like us, the fingers being like us, and the palm being like the collective consciousness or the God stuff, right? And if we want to just hang out in the collective consciousness, I mean, that's a lovely place to be. I like going to silent retreats and all that lovely jazz. But how are we, if you only had the palm of the hand, how are you going to accomplish anything? And what if the thumb says, oh, look, I don't like being a thumb. I'm short and stubby. I want to be a middle finger. Then we have no opposing force to pick things up. It's important that we have an opposing force in life, somebody to help us challenge our thoughts, to think differently. You know, so love the people that for who they are and the diversity they have. I often say the world would be a boring place if we were all the same. And I love this diversity. And the final and most compelling reason to me is it feels good. It just feels good to walk through. You're not having to worry about, okay, what if I say this, what's this person going to think? And if I do that, what's that person going to think? No. Be who you are. Have fun with life. One of my very favorite authors is Eckhart Tolle, and he says, the truth of who you are, if realized, will set you free. Amen. And so I'm here to tell you, you can be free. Just let it go. Just lay it down. Be the different textures and the different colors and the different instruments. And then we'll all create heaven on earth together. And it'll be a beautiful picture. And thank you all for journeying with me in this great adventure called life.